Welcome to Box Score Studio, where the stats speak, the stories hit harder, and every take comes straight off the playbook. Let's talk sports.
Hey guys, welcome to a Saturday edition of Box Score Studio. Rudy Campos Jr. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, Box Score Studio TV. That way you can get all the updates as well as take a look at a documentary, the Derek Irvin story, that is only on Box Score Studio on YouTube. So be sure to go to YouTube, Box Score Studio TV, so you can catch the Derek Irvin story, plus all the other shows that are going to be coming to you, like Grading the Market, which will be later on today. You're getting Box Score Studio, the caught up, the recap show right now. Then you've got Grading the Market coming on right after this. But don't forget, the Derek Irvin story is on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, Box Score Studio TV, exclusively on there, produced by Dope Fresh Media and a Box Score Studio presentation. What do we got going on today? Well, we've got a lot going on today. So, college football playoffs, we're done. We're done. We've got the final two, Miami versus Indiana. Those two other Miami Ole Miss game, best game so far of the Final Four. Indiana just walloped Oregon. We're going to get into that as well. Mentioned about Trinidad Chambliss here, quarterback for Ole Miss. He was denied his 6th year of eligibility. What do you guys think? Plus, we're going to catch you up on a little bit NBA news. Trae Young trade. Meh. I mean, if you want to grade the trade, it's a meh. We kind of brought that up a little bit on the last show for Box Score Studio. We talked about Trae Young. None of the top teams were going to trade for Trae Young. It was going to be a team that needed to be sell some tickets. Basically, we mentioned the Sacramento Kings. He ended up going to Washington. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Also, Ja Morant on the trade block, reported by Shams Charania that he is on the trade block. Basically, they're going to kind of get a feel, see where he'd go. Could Ja go to a contender? There's 3 teams that are listed. We'll get y'all's thoughts on that. Plus, we're going to end the show with our NFL playoff picks. NFL playoffs start today. We're going to pick those games. And we're also going to come back to you live tomorrow night, as well as throughout the week, to provide more sports content for you here on Box Score Studio. Be sure to go to our channel on YouTube, Box Score Studio TV. Hit that subscribe button. Shout out to MCS General Contracting. As you can see from the hat, the greatest in the business. Give them a call today if you need the driveway poured, you need the foundation poured. If you are a business and your parking lot is just a mess, call the guys over at MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors and good friends of us here at Box Score Studio. We've got Dan Griffin, R4K. Hey, man, what's going on, Dan? Appreciate you joining us here today. Thank you for joining us here on Box Score Studio. We're going to get right into it now. And as we mentioned, the CFP. So those Indiana Hoosiers defeated the Oregon Ducks 56-22 in the Peach Bowl. Now, we've talked about the Indiana Hoosiers. Again, I hate bringing up old stuff here, but we've been talking about the Indiana Hoosiers for the past 2 years. Coach Gio, again, for those that are new to the show, we appreciate you joining us here. Box Score Studio formerly was Sweep the League Network, but for us here at Sweep the League Network, including Coach Gio, we've talked about Indiana for a few years already. When Curt Cignetti was hired, Coach Gio, very first words were, this team is going to be a powerhouse because of Curt Cignetti. Coach Gio made that promise. He's lived up to that promise. Curt Cignetti has come into Indiana, and he has created a juggernaut, not on just one side of the ball, but on both sides of the ball. Funny, because you've got guys like Dabo Swinney over at Clemson and other old-time head coaches that don't want to utilize the transfer portal. It's been reported by a few stations, and it's been shown by a few stations. Curt Cignetti went in there and didn't go for the 5-star athletes. He went for the mature, veteran college athletes. And now you're seeing what happens. When you go for smart, you go for the veterans, you go for the guys that have been battle tested, and not for the 5-star athletes that we are used to seeing go to Alabama, go to LSU, Texas. Curt Cignetti is using the transfer portal to his advantage. I believe the average age for the starting 5 or even the Indiana Hoosiers team was, 22, 23 years old? That shows Curt is using the transfer portal to his benefit. Clearly shows. As they have just been dominant through this whole CFP, as well as college football. Ran over Oregon 56-22. The McMurray family, damn Indiana. Yep, that is dismantled. Jacob's going to be bringing to you guys grading the market here around 2 o'clock Central Time. Be sure to catch that on Box Score Studio. Kurt Cignetti is showing the coaches in America how to do it. If Al Davis was alive right now, he'd say, just win, baby. And that's all Kurt Cignetti does is win. But he's doing it a way that other coaches have not been able to do it. I don't need the 5-star athletes. I need the athletes and I need the players that are going to fit my system, that are going to make it easier for us to get to a national title. He's doing it. He's working it. He's working the NIL money deals. He's working the transfer portal. He's getting the players that he feels make sense for his team and his system. As shown, the dismantling of the Oregon Ducks, 56-22. Fernando Mendoza solidified as probably the number 1 pick in this year's draft. As mentioned, we said it was going to be a Dante Moore versus Fernando Mendoza matchup. Winner would more than likely get that nod. You've got guys left and right. You've got scouts saying Dante Moore is better than Mendoza. I see both sides of it. We're going to get into some NFL draft coverage here as we get closer. I see both sides of it. But right now, with Mendoza, the way he's been playing, you kind of got to give him the nod. Now, I will throw this out there when it comes to Mendoza. Again, I've mentioned before, and I'm going to mention it again. He's a Heisman winner, but he's not putting up the Heisman numbers as far as passing yards go. He only had 177 yards in the ground and through the air. 5 touchdowns. But when you think Heisman, when you think Joe Burrow-esque type performances, you're not getting these wow performances from Mendoza. And that's okay. And that is fine. That is not a knock on Fernando. Not a knock on him at all. It's the system that Kurt's installed. He's getting it done. That's all that matters. There's 185 yards on the ground for Indiana. But it's their defense too. Their defense is what is making this Indiana team extremely tough. The Doctor of Style Sith is in here. He says, what is up, man? What's up, Sith? Again, you can catch Sith on some of his shows as well here on Box Score Studio TV. Great shows. Great life shows. Shout out to Kurt Cignetti. You're doing it. You're doing it right. Miami, Ole Miss. Game of the weekend so far? I mean, I would say between both games, yeah. 31-27. Carson Beck with a, 11-yard touchdown run to seal the deal for Miami there. I get it. Pass interference call. We're just going to leave it as is, man. Sports are sports for a reason. Refs are going to blow calls left and right. It pisses me off. It pisses a lot of people off. There is no sport that's ever going to be perfect. I get it. Nonetheless, Miami's defense is still one of the best defenses in the country. Trinidad Chambliss, 277 yards passing, a touchdown throw. This was a great game. Pete Golding, you've got a good team. You've got a good product in front of you there with Ole Miss. Sucks your whole coaching staff's heading to LSU, but you can rebuild this program. You can make it you can basically build it in your own eyes. Good run for Ole Miss. Really good run. Ultimately, I think the better team won, obviously. Miami did win. Carson Beck, 268, threw a pick. 2 touchdowns, though. Also had one on the ground. The key one on the ground. Grading the market, as we mentioned earlier, Dr. Style Sith, as well as Jacob Barrett. Grading the market, 2 p.m. Central Time here on Box Score Studio TV. Don't want to miss it. Your collectibles, your trading card questions, everything. They're going to get into some great topics today. You want to catch that. Beck sold on one of my parlays and need 3 more passing yards for $200 to come up with. Yeah, we need that parlay show, man. We need that gambling show by the Dr. Style Sith here. Nonetheless, like I mentioned, the better team won. Miami won. Previously, I had Miami against Indiana, which is what we're getting in the national championship game. But I need to see what Carson Beck are we getting in this game when it comes to Indiana, Miami. We're going to get into that here in just a little bit. Miami defeats Ole Miss 31-27, securing its spot. And a very happy Michael Irvin, as a lot of people saw on TV. A very crazily happy Michael Irvin. The U is back in the national championship. Is it the end? Is it the stop of it all? Are they just getting back, or do they have a legitimate shot against Indiana? Before we go on to that, I got to bring this up here. As you all know, Trinity Chambers applied for a 6-year of eligibility. Didn't get it. Denied by the NCAA. Basically saying there just really wasn't enough evidence, medical evidence, to give him that 6th year. You've got guys like Diego Parvia. You've got other guys that have been in school probably like 7-8 years, and they're not even doctors. They're not even lawyers. But they get eligibility. Could this be a blessing in disguise for Trinidad? As of right now, I mean, he's going to be, unless his lawyer can get it reversed, he's going to be entering the NFL draft. Say he doesn't get it reversed. It is denied. He has to leave college. He's got to go to the NFL draft. Mendoza, Moore, Ty Simpson, then Chambliss. He legitimately is probably the 5th or 6th best quarterback in this draft. More draft coverage provided by Box Score Studio TV as we get closer. Remember that. But right now, I mean, he could potentially be a late first round. If somebody really wants him, they can trade back up into the first round. But I mean, you're talking about maybe 2nd, 3rd round guy here. Just by the performances that we've seen towards the end of the season, you're talking about a potential 2nd or 3rd round guy here in Trinidad Chambliss. So being denied that 6-year of eligibility, okay. If you want to stay in college and you get it, stay in college. I really hope they reverse it and they give you that 6th year. But if they don't, it's not so bad. It really is not that bad. I have you over Carson Beck. I have you over guys like Garrett Nussmeier right now. I like me some Drew Allar, but I kind of have you a little bit over Drew Allar. That's just for right now, though. Not a bad idea if you go to the NFL draft. Maybe 2nd, 3rd, latest 4th. I think he's got to go way before the 4th, but latest he can go for me is the 4th round right now. Wanted to bring that up before we brought in, again, Miami, Indiana. So the national championship is set. Hurricanes, Hoosiers. The craziest thing is it's being played in Florida, Miami's backyard. So Miami technically has home field advantage, basically. Indiana's defied everything this year. They've gone through juggernauts. They are proving why they are the best team in the country. Beating Oregon a few times. And yeah, they beat Ohio State. They're undefeated. And a lot of people, including myself, made a little bit of a mention saying, hey, Mendoza doesn't really have these killer stats or these killer games against the better teams in the country. Facts are facts. It's there. He doesn't have the greatest games. I mean, 5 touchdown performance, against Oregon. That's pretty damn good. 177 yards passing. Okay. Didn't have to do much, but okay. Which team prevails? I had Indiana winning the national championship when the bracket came out. And stop it to all you sweep the league guys out there and early Box Score Studio fans, I know who my original national championship pick was. It didn't happen. If you need to see that, go back and watch some of the old videos. But when the bracket was released, I took Indiana for good reason. They dominate on both sides of the ball. They don't need Mendoza to be Tom Brady. They don't need Mendoza to be a Dan Marino getting, 350, 400 yards passing. They need Mendoza to continue to do what he's been doing on the offensive side against one of the better defenses in the country in Miami, led by Bain. I think they can get it done. Indiana's going to get to Carson Beck. They're going to make it tough for Carson Beck. Indiana dominates both sides of the ball. They're going to hoist that national championship trophy. I've got Indiana beating Miami to get the national championship for college football this season. Kurt Cignetti rides off into the sunset. Do other coaches go the Cignetti route and say, holy cow, you are a 5-star athlete, but let me go get me some of these 3-star guys that are going to be playing with just as much heart, if not more, because they have a lot to prove. Will coaches follow that? I think so. Give me Indiana over Miami. This is Box Score Studio TV, Rudy Campos Jr. Be sure to go to our YouTube channel, Box Score Studio TV. Hit that subscribe button. Why? You get Grading the Market. You get Box Score Studio TV. You get the Derek Gervin story produced by Dope Fresh Media and presented by Box Score Studio. You get other shows as well that are going to be joining us here on Box Score Studio TV. The newest network across the land and across the world is Box Score Studio TV. Over 9,000 views for the Derek Gervin story right now. And it's climbing. Hit that subscribe button so you don't be left out when we release more documentaries for your enjoyment out there. NBA, NFL, MLB, everything. We're doing a lot of documentaries. The Derek Gervin story being the first one. That is Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. NBA. We saw it. We talked about it before this past week. Trae Young. No top team was going to trade for Trae Young. No top team. There's just, it made no sense. You are going to have to give up a lot of cap space for a guy that isn't even coming close to his worth on that contract. The teams that were going to look at him were teams that needed to sell tickets. That just start fresh. Hey, you know what? We'll make Trae part of the rebuild. We'll kind of build around him. We figured maybe Sacramento would be that one team. Washington, it came out Trae wanted to go to Washington. As soon as he said that, it was pretty much a done deal. Nobody wants to go to Washington. Trae did. Trade happened. Washington Wizards received Trae Young. The Hawks get CJ McCollum, Corey Kispert. Now, that's it. No draft compensation, no nothing. Is CJ McCollum staying with the Hawks? Probably not. They still got a whole Anthony Davis thing that they're going to work out here. So you may look like a CJ McCollum, Kristaps Porzingis deal, maybe on the works right there, to head over to Dallas, and then you got Anthony Davis back in Atlanta. To me, Anthony Davis in Atlanta does, again, stays healthy. If he stays healthy, the Hawks they're viable. Dyson Daniels, Alexander Walker, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, that is a really good team in the East. But when it comes to Trae in Washington, they're just there to sell tickets. He's just there to sell tickets. That's even if he plays this season. Jacob's in here asking, wonder how this affects that draft pick. Now, if you're talking about the Spurs pick, again, I think if for right now, Atlanta it's mid. It's mid. It's not going to probably be a lottery pick, especially if they get a Anthony Davis there. We can look at the latest standings here, but it's probably not going to be a lottery pick. Atlanta sits 9th right now. in the Eastern Conference. So they're in the play-in game right now. They play better without Trae Young. Remember that. Played a lot better without Trae Young. They're only 2 games under 500. They have potential to catch teams like Orlando, Miami, depending on what happens. But if Anthony Davis does stick around, it does get traded to Atlanta, it bolsters them. It moves them up the standings. But as we speak now, CJ McCollum is playing way better than Trae Young has this season. Way better. So you got to think Atlanta does get better with this deal. And if there is no Anthony Davis move, Atlanta's got some serious cap. I think this draft pick doesn't bode well for the Spurs. Everybody thinking it's a lottery pick now. The Hawks were better without Trae Young when he was injured. What makes you think that's going to change? Unless they just blow everything up. But again, why would the Hawks want to do that knowing their own pick is not worth anything? They have New Orleans pick. The Hawks are banking on that New Orleans pick, which as of right now, I mean, you are top 3. They really don't care what happens to their pick with San Antonio. So Spurs fans, don't even worry about it. The Hawks are banking on that New Orleans pick, which right now is top 3. That's what they're banking on. But nonetheless, I would say the Atlanta Hawks get a B for this trade. The Washington Wizards, B-. B- on the deal. More NBA news. Ja Morant. Reports from Shams Charania. For the first time, the Memphis Grizzlies are entertaining offers to potentially move 2-time All-Star Ja Morant ahead of the February 5th NBA trade deadline, sources are telling ESPN. Miami, Minnesota, Milwaukee. The 3 top teams right now that are on this list for Ja Morant. Milwaukee is appealing. Milwaukee is very appealing. If you can get a third team involved, you can potentially have Ja Morant, Giannis, and Miles Turner in Milwaukee for this season. That's a hell of a tax to pay. But if you can get the right players involved, it might work. It might work. Does he go to Miami? You might have to end up losing a Norman Powell or a Tyler Hero. But it could work in Miami. Do you want John Morant in Miami? Is he mature enough to be in Miami? That's the biggest question. Do the Heat want to actually deal with that? I'm not so sure they do. Nonetheless, it does make them a lot better. Minnesota's very key here. If you're a Western Conference team, you're probably hoping that they do trade Ja to the Eastern Conference. But if you look at Minnesota, it would be Ja. It would more than likely be Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert. Does it give them a much-needed boost, though? It's hard to say. Out of the 3, I think Milwaukee's the best fit for Ja Morant. I really feel Milwaukee would be the best fit. It would instantly move them up a whole lot in the Eastern Conference. Don't like the Minnesota fit. I'm not too sold on the Miami fit, but it would work in Miami, obviously. I would like a Milwaukee deal for Ja Morant. Look out for teams like the Spurs and the Thunder, though. They may be a third team to help this trade go out. They've got a lot of draft capital. Milwaukee has no draft capital. Miami has some draft capital, but not a lot. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Ja Morant deal. As mentioned, Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. We're only here for about 30 minutes today. Again, you can catch us here on Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button where you can catch this show, Grading the Market, other shows that are going to be added as well. As mentioned, the Derek Irvin story. Again, you can only catch it on Box Score Studio TV here on YouTube. Appreciate everybody joining us here today. Again, we're here for 30 minutes. Box Score Studio TV shows are about 30 minutes. You can catch me on Sundays on the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV's YouTube channel. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV on YouTube, hit that subscribe button where you catch myself, as well as sometimes Jacob from Grady the Market on Sundays for the Sports Answer, where we answer all your sports questions. Be sure to leave comments on that show once it comes out. That way we can answer your sports questions on the Sports Answer, brought to you by Answer Now TV. Jacob Eric is in here. We talking pack searching. Don't be mad at me, y'all. Nothing mad. Grady the Market, they're going to talk about searching packs today because it gets kind of confusing. You see a lot of these guys, a lot of these, we'll call it a lot of these, losers out there that are searching packs. They're weighing them and everything. You're taking the fun out of everything, man. It's not cool at all. That's my opinion. Maybe those guys at Grady the Market have a different opinion. Be sure to check it out today. It's 2 o'clock Central Time here on Box Score Studio TV. Shout out to NFL on Twitter at NFL. They have the graphic up. Now, we've got the first round of the playoffs starting today. Who do we got? We're going to go through each game right now. Steelers and Texans. I'm going to take the Texans. They're playing really, really well right now. D'Amico Ryan's got them playing at a high level. I think that defense is going to really show up against Pittsburgh. Give me the Texans. They're going to be on the road, but give me the Texans to win that game. The Chargers and Patriots. I really did skip the Buffalo Bills and Jaguars game. I'm kind of terrified of that game. Chargers and Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots at home. Drake May's been playing MVP caliber football. The Patriots on both sides of the ball just playing phenomenal. Give me the Patriots. Jaguars and Buffalo Bills. Now, this is a very scary game for me because as much as I feel Buffalo's going to win, my heart tells me they're going to win. My mind tells me they're going to win. I have a little gut feeling that says Jacksonville has a legitimate shot in this game. What does that do? Does that make, if Buffalo loses in the first round, are we talking about a McDermott firing? Could we see him be fired if they lose to Jacksonville? Keep that in mind. Nonetheless, I think Josh Allen gets it done this weekend. Give me the Buffalo Bills over the Jaguars. Would not surprise me if Jacksonville did win this game, but I'm going to stick with Buffalo right now. Give me Buffalo Bills over Jacksonville. Rams and Panthers. Rams did lose to Carolina this year in Carolina. I think you're going to see a whole different Rams team from there. I think Matthew Stafford's going to be just gunslinging it. It's going to be a high-scoring affair by the Rams. Give me the Rams over the Panthers. Niners and Eagles. Great, great game. Can Brock Purdy get it done for San Francisco? Christian McCaffrey. Battle of the great running backs here, McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. As much as I really feel the Eagles are going to win this game, give me the Niners to beat the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. Bears and Packers, this is a game that we talked about this week here. Why? Because I think also as well is if the Packers lose against the Bears, there could be an announcement coming this week that Matt LaFleur might be fired or he may just leave. A lot of people don't talk about that, but I really feel a first-round exit would really, really shake up things in Green Bay. Again, especially with some good coaches, with some coaches out there now, I think this could be a move that if the Bears do beat the Packers, it might be time to move on. Nonetheless, I've actually got Green Bay beating the Bears this weekend. Matt LaFleur is still there after this weekend. Give me the Packers to beat the Bears, and that is the first round of the playoffs. I appreciate everybody joining us here on Box Score Studio. Again, Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so you are not left out with any of the shows we got coming for you. And again, we will release shorts. We will release a lot more content for you guys here on Box Score Studio TV. So for Grading the Market guys and Jacob and the Doctor of Style Seth, it's Rudy Campos Jr. When you need that content, you need that sports talk, and you want the edge a little bit, what do? You tune into Box Score Studio TV on YouTube. We'll see you guys later.
This is Box Score Studio. Breaking it down, calling it real, and keeping you one step ahead of the game. Catch you on the next one.